174 days ago, I started copywriting. This is what happened. So it all started when I quit my job in February and I put all of my savings into a mastermind course because I was desperate just to get around entrepreneurs. I had no idea what I was doing, but I quit my job because I knew I needed to go full-time into business, and I had an idea to do marketing, but it wasn't really that profitable for the amount of time I was spending into it. And so I decided to get into an environment where I could actually learn from people that were successful. And I put my savings into this mastermind. I spent a few grand. And when you join a program like that where people are spending thousands of dollars to be a part of it, they're usually pretty high-level entrepreneurs. So while I was learning a ton about entrepreneurship itself, I was also getting connected with some really cool people, some people with businesses across like every industry, across like fitness and wealth and courses and all sorts of different businesses, but I was looking for the commonalities that they all had. In the meantime, I was asking them to come on my podcast. So I had this tiny little podcast that was growing where I was just interviewing entrepreneurs, looking to share their story with my audience and inspire the next generation to start their own business. And really, I was just looking to learn in that respect also. And I didn't have a way to monetize it. It was very, very small, still is. And so these people would come on my podcast and they'd be like, so what do you do? And it was pretty much just, I have a podcast, and that was all I really had going for me. But I was getting really cool connections. I had really cool guests coming on my podcast, people that were doing crazy numbers, entrepreneurs with $10 million exits. And I still have podcasts I have to post because I recorded so many during that time between like February and like March, where I just met a bunch of people in that course. And so I was networking like crazy. I was networking in that course. I was networking outside that course. Anywhere I could find it, like a connection, I was just networking. So inside that course, one of the entrepreneurs reached out to me and asked me if I knew how to write. And I was like, yes, I'm a good writer. And I probably would have said yes no matter what he had asked me, because it was just like someone I really respected, but it was also like a good amount of money that he was offering. So it was a $2,000 project, and he was just not looking to do the writing portion of it. He didn't want to have to do all that research and putting the information together, making it sound good. And I was just pretty much willing to learn whatever. I was like, if I spend 15 hours a day, there's nothing I can't learn in a week. And so I went crazy just learning everything I could about ghostwriting, about book writing, about copywriting, and just immersed myself in this world for the next month between February and March. And that was my first client as a copywriter slash like ghostwriter. And so I performed really well, got him great results with that project. And then I decided to start experimenting. I was like, okay, I at the time still didn't really know what copywriting was as like its own thing, but I had owned a business since I was 19 where I was just writing my own like marketing materials. So I had a little experience there, and I started reaching out to my own email list, and I had a couple thousand people, or about 1,500 people. And so I started sending out these emails, just adding value and small calls to action, sending them to my YouTube and stuff like that. And I got really good results. I had a couple emails that flopped, but then I started getting like 50% open rates, 40% open rates, and I was getting like between 20 and 30% click-through rates, which I didn't know that was a normal. But then I showed it to one of my marketer friends, and he was like, holy crap, like, do you know what the average is? And turns out that was a really good open rate. So then I was like, wait a second, pause. Maybe this is an opportunity here. And I started looking into what copywriting actually was. And this was in April. And I reached out to everyone that I had interviewed on my podcast. And remember, there are some really high-level entrepreneurs that I had interviewed. So I reached out to all of them and told them what I was doing, told them the results I'd gotten, and the one client I'd worked for, he was a high-level entrepreneur, so that was some credibility on my part. And so I just reached out to them asking if they knew anyone that needed a copywriter. I was basically just like, thank you so much for coming on my podcast. Really, really excited to share your story and all of the wisdom that you shared. And I just wanted to put it out there to know this is a shot in the dark, but I started copywriting. I, wrote a project for Ted Carr. I also, have been getting, XYZ results with my emails. And if you happen to know anyone that needs a copywriter, I would be happy to write them some free emails, show them what I can do, looking to expand my clientele. So it's probably a shot in the dark, but I know you have an epic network, so I thought I would throw it out there. And I got really good results with that because it was genuine, and because the people that had come on my podcast knew that I was just looking to learn, and that I was really a curious person, and I had like the best intentions at heart. And so they really trusted my services in that respect. And so that got good results. And I realized really fast that if I could land a $2,000 client and I could do that like 3, 4, 5 more times, I could scale to 10K really fast. So it was April, and I just started signing clients, and I set the goal to hit 10K a month. And my first 10K month was June. And that was because I literally just went crazy reaching out to people. I started getting on sales calls almost every day. And I went through a lot of numbers. I went through a lot of no's, a lot of rejection. But I had a pretty decent response rate because of the relationships that I had built. And that's why I always tell people, whether it's video editing, whether it's copywriting, whether it's marketing, whether it's running ads, like building relationships, no matter what your service business is the most crucial part of it. And if you can build a good, strong network, you're gonna be set. I don't even know why, but I always like wanted to build a network before like I was concerned about building a product. It was always network first and then product second. And so even when I didn't know what my business was gonna be, when I quit my job in February, I knew that if I built a network, the doors would open. And I had a lot of people advise me like, you should figure out your business, figure out how to make money. And I was like, yeah, I know. It's gonna make money though. Like I know it's gonna lead somewhere. And they would just kind of look at me kind of like, okay, and I just had this feeling though that like it was gonna work out. And even though my savings were running low and I was just having to do whatever like small jobs I could find and I was trying everything out, I was confident that it was gonna work out. And so that let me just have the freedom to make those connections and really form genuine relationships with people where I was adding value. I was working for free. I was doing whatever it took to just learn from these people and find the commonalities that they all needed. And when I realized they all needed copywriting and that I now had this massive network of people, it was really simple to plug and play that and be like, okay, 10K a month is not that far away if I just put the reps in. And when I hit 10K in June, basically what it looked like was May, I just worked constantly. I remember I like canceled all the dates I had, canceled all my friends, different like coffee meetups I was going to be going to. I canceled everything. And I just worked like 15 hours a day for a month straight. I still kind of do that. So that hasn't changed a ton, but now it's like work that I get to choose what I do. And in June, I hit 10K a month and I moved out of my small town. I went abroad, actually. First I went to Vancouver. It's not really abroad, but I went to Vancouver. Then I went to California, living on the beach for a while. I went to Vegas for a business event, back to California, back to Vegas for another event, and then back here to New York for a quick visit before I go back to California. And I'm thinking about traveling to the Midwest, and we'll see potentially maybe Florida, maybe Hawaii, I don't know yet. But I have just, ever since hitting 10K, that cliche that like when you get to 10K, that's the biggest lifestyle change, is really true. Like the lifestyle change from like 2K to 10K, that was a jump I made in 30 days, was crazy. It gave me the freedom to go do whatever the heck I wanted and not have to be tied down to one location because I make all my money on my laptop. And if you want to get started copywriting, that was literally like 174 days ago. So you could start today, and there's no reason why in 30 days you can't land a $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 client. I just pitched a client for $6,000. And you can just keep scaling it up. As the demand increases for your services, the more you can charge because the more people want to work with you. And sometimes demand actually increases when you increase the price. So that's a little secret. But that is totally realistic. If you want to land a client in the next 30 days, if you go ham right now, you could be making $3,000 this month, $6,000 next month, and $10,000 a month after. That's kind of like the path I took, except I kind of jumped from 2 to 10. So if you guys want help landing your first client, I'm happy to jump on a call. There's a link below if you want to book a call directly with me. It's a 15-minute call. I jump on calls with copywriters all the time just to create a game plan for them to get from 0 to 10K. So if you want help with that, I'm happy to jump on a call with you. But I hope this was helpful. I know I'm filming inside today, which is weird. My last 2 videos have been outside, but it's raining right now in New York. So the next video will be outside, hopefully. But hopefully that was helpful. I'll see you guys soon.